Have you ever whispered to someone in a coma, not knowing they could actually hear you? Dr. Elijah Brooks did. And what happened next? Shocked an entire hospital. A young black doctor, barely a year into his residency, assigned to a woman who hadn't opened her eyes in months. A woman whose wealth could buy anything, except the will to wake up. Until one moment of quiet kindness changed everything. This story will break your heart. And then heal it. It was 6:42 a.m. The hospital corridors still smelled of floor cleaner and burnt coffee. The morning sun cut sharp lines across the sterile linoleum tiles. Elijah Brooks, 29 years old, tugged his white coat tighter over his scrubs and tapped his badge against the ICU security panel. He didn't expect anything different today. Same rounds, same quiet rooms, same unconscious patients. Until he stepped into room 908. The woman in the bed, mid-60s, beautiful even in stillness, was Catherine Wells. Yes, that Catherine Wells, CEO of Wells International, worth over $500 million. She'd been in a coma for 113 days. Her face was pale, her lips cracked. Monitors beeped steadily. Tube helped her breathe. Elijah paused at her bedside. He wasn't even supposed to be her primary, just covering for the attending on leave. But something in her stillness unsettled him, like she was almost there, listening. So he spoke, softly. "Good morning, Ms. Wells. You don't know me. I'm Elijah. I'll be changing your dressing today." He waited. Of course there was no reply. Still, as he peeled back the gauze on her arm, he kept talking. "You've got the best view in the ward," he said, motioning toward the skyline. "Bet you used to run that skyline." And I wonder if anyone ever just sat with you. Not to treat you. Just Saturday. He swallowed. He didn't know why he said it. Maybe because no one had ever just sat with him when he was hurting. Elijah wasn't supposed to be a doctor. Growing up in the south side of Atlanta, sirens were more common than stethoscopes. His mother worked double shifts cleaning hotel rooms. His father, well, he never knew him. But one moment stuck. He was 10. His mom collapsed from exhaustion right in front of him. And a nurse, black like him, rushed out of the ambulance, held his mother's hand and smiled. That smile changed his life. Now Elijah was here. Doctor. Still carrying that same desire, to make people feel seen, even when they can't speak. That's why, for the next few weeks, Elijah began visiting room 908 more than required. Every morning, every evening, reading to her, telling stories about his life, playing Nina Simone from his phone. He didn't know if Catherine Wells could hear him, but something inside him needed to believe she could. One day, while changing her bandage, he noticed something strange. Her fingers twitched. Just once. Was it a muscle reflex? Or something more? He called in the nurse. She dismissed it. "She's had episodes like that before. Doesn't mean anything." But Elijah couldn't shake the feeling. Later that night he came back after his shift. The hospital lights were dim, the halls quieter than ever. He brought a letter. One he wrote himself. "Dear Ms. Wells," he began reading aloud. "I know you're rich, powerful. You've probably flown first class more than I've been on a bus. But here's the thing, none of that matters to me. What matters is whether you feel like living again. 'Cause I think you can. And I hope somehow you hear me." His voice cracked. He didn't know why he was crying. Maybe because she reminded him of his mother. Strong, tired, and underestimated. Maybe because, deep down, he needed to believe someone could come back from silence. The next morning everything changed. Elijah walked in as usual, set his tablet down, pulled on gloves. But then, the heart monitor beeped irregularly. He froze, looked up. Her eyes, they were open. Barely, but open. A nurse rushed in, called the ICU team. The room flooded with people. Orders. Movement. Elijah stepped back. As they worked around her, stabilizing her vitals, he felt something brush his wrist. It was her hand. She gripped his fingers lightly, deliberately. She was awake, and he had no idea what it would mean. The recovery was slow. She couldn't speak for days. But every time Elijah came in, her eyes followed him. Eventually, she mouthed one word. "Elijah." He blinked. "You remember my name." Tears welled in her eyes. She nodded just barely. When she could write again, she scribbled something shaky on a notepad. "You saved me. I heard everything." Elijah couldn't move. She had heard him. Every story, every song, every word of encouragement. She remembered everything. He sat beside her, silent, then whispered, "You saved me too." Because in helping her feel alive, he had found his purpose again. Weeks later, when Catherine was well enough to sit up, she made a formal request to speak at a hospital board meeting. No one knew why, until she stood up, frail but proud, and told the room of executives, "I want to personally fund a new wing, a space for long-term recovery patients, and I want it named after him, Dr. Elijah Brooks." Gasps filled the room. Elijah sat in the back, stunned. He hadn't even known she had a voice again, let alone that kind of fire. She turned to him. "Your voice kept me alive. Now I want to make sure your voice is never ignored again." But she wasn't done. A week later, Elijah received a letter. "Dear Elijah, this is my private number. Call it when you're ready. You once asked if anyone had ever just sat with me. No one ever had. Until you. I'd like to sit with you too, maybe over coffee. Maybe over something bigger." Attached was a deed. Small clinic. Fully funded. In his mother's old neighborhood. Named the Simone Wellness Center. He called her that evening, voice shaking. "You didn't have to do all this," he said. She smiled over the line. "No, Elijah. You did something first. You were kind when no one was watching. That's the kind of doctor this world needs." Can you imagine it? A young black doctor, just doing his job, just choosing kindness. And because he believed, someone woke up, not just from a coma, but from a life that had forgotten how to feel. That's the power of quiet kindness. The kind that doesn't go viral, but changes everything. So what's your act of kindness today? Tell us in the comments below. Your story might inspire the next Elijah. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs hope today. Because kindness, it always echoes.